Hello, welcome back. It's Rapid Regeneration. I'm David Escamilla. I'm not a doctor, not a medical professional, not making any medical claims or claims about diseases. I'm just somebody who knows a lot about natural health because I was forced to learn everything I could about how to heal myself naturally because I was so sick and just felt terrible, and I wasn't against conventional methods of solving health problems. They just didn't work for me. And so I kept looking, and you know what? Natural self-healing worked. And so I just figured it out. And there are many people that helped me, that I learned from, different techniques. And now my goal is to do the same for you. Whether you're solving a health problem or whether you're trying to ascend to the next level, this information is meant to assist you to do that. This is another one of the tips and tricks. This is called the Alexander Technique. And it's worth mentioning. It really is. It seems redundant, but it is worth mentioning because what this technique helps with is something that you're doing 100% of the time. It's a lost art. It's just simply beingness. In other words, just existing. How to exist. I mean, there's so many things that we're taught as we're growing up. You know, how to play an instrument, how to dance, how to stretch, how to exercise, how to breathe, how to make love, how to speak. All these different things we're taught, and yet we're not so often taught how to just be. Now, there are sometimes classes in the South for young ladies where they're taught something like this. They're taught like how to have good posture. But that's not what the Alexander Technique is. I'm going to explain why. It's not holding good posture. It's very counterintuitive. But that would be maybe the closest kind of a class to this. But again, you're doing it all the time. Whether you're just sitting, I'm sitting here right now, I'm talking to you, or whether you're standing, or whether you're walking around, maybe you're picking something up, you're getting in and out of a seat. How are you holding your body and just existing? You know, it's worth mentioning because so many people carry tension in their bodies that can cause a lack of ease, can cause a blockage with their body's natural flow. And, you know, people didn't start out like this. If you look at a baby or a young child, or if you look at an animal in the wild, you'll notice that they have a natural free-flowingness to them. They have an ease of motion, and they have an upward kind of energy. You know, if you look at a baby, it sits up so straight. It's like a string is pulling out of the top of their head, effortlessly, like that. And then they start to walk, and they just have so much energy. So it is the theory of the Alexander Technique, which I agree with, that people are conditioned into having these stresses on their body, these tensions, and these kind of blockages of energy, to where they're kind of like, like just slouching around, and just you get like stuck, fixed in a position, where it's almost like a position of defeat. You know, and think about it. People go through school for 2 decades practically, and they just sit in uncomfortable chairs for hours and hours on end, and you know, by the time this is done, you know, their natural ease of motion, you know, is no longer resembling that free, endless energy that they had when they were a kid. So mostly the technique focuses on 2 things, which is sitting and standing, because again, you're doing this so often. And so just a little bit about how it works. Basically, now again, I'm gonna just say this is something that's worth looking into. If you're interested in this, if this resonates with you, I'm not going to be able to teach you in the next 5 minutes, you know, how to just solve this problem instantly. There's a whole organization that teaches this, you know. Now, you don't necessarily need to get in-person training to learn this. You can learn it on your own. I'm going to provide additional resources if you're interested. Just go to rapidregeneration.com/Alexander Technique. If you want to do some more self-learning, I'll provide some resources there. Or if you want to find a practitioner who can instruct you individually, with the goal being, again, having a lightness of being in the body, a free energy, flowing energy, and getting rid of tensions, blockages, lack of ease, and stresses in the body, which can lead to so many health problems. And so I personally was instructed. I learned this in college, and it stayed with me. It is a life skill, although I kind of forgot it, and then I remembered it and reintroduced it. So here's how it works. Basically, when you're looking at how you're sitting or how you're standing, and you're like, oh man, you know what? I have bad posture, or I'm slouching, I'm leaning on one side, and I'm like, Alexander Technique doesn't try to correct the issue straightforwardly. Rather, you're going to focus on your overall beingness. And so basically the first step of the technique is to increase your awareness. As you increase your awareness, that's it. That's the end goal, is simply to be aware of how your body's feeling. This is almost like a sixth sense. It's the inner body sensation. What's going on with my body? And really trying to develop and sharpen that sense. And as you do that, like right now, if I do that, I'm just sitting here. I might think, well, you know what? I'm holding some tension in my lower back. And you know what? I'm holding some tension in my neck. And you can start to feel that. You can feel the body just for no reason, basically, just pulling and creating tension and stress in a certain area. And you're like, why? Why is that? You know, I don't know. We live on a messed up planet. I mean, it's tense and pressure and stress and duality all the time. So by the time you go from a child to young adulthood, you know, things are messed up, and tense, and there's all this tension and everything. So, but we can undo it. And so you start to have that awareness, and basically, once you grow that awareness, which takes a while to really develop that muscle, but now you start to let go of it, and you kind of focus on, okay, what if I just relax this tension? And you're like, oh my God, you feel the body start to respond. And the body, you know, it's muscle memory. The body gets fixed in a position. And you can start to instruct it to let go of that tension, and you that's the second step of the technique, is you start to relax that tension, those points of tension. First step is become aware of it. Where is it coming from? Is it my left hip? Is it my neck? Typically it's somewhere in the back or torso, but it doesn't have to be. You become aware of it, and then you start to try to let go of it and relax that point of tension. So now once you start to do this, the posture and the alignment of the body naturally, organically, will start to stretch upward and outward in an elevating way, in a freeing way. Just like if you look at an animal in the wild, it moves with a great poise and a great elegance. And, this becomes the art of just being, and it becomes really an art form where your environment is a blank canvas and your body is a paintbrush. The quality of life improves. You get rid of health problems, aches, pains, and again, a lack of ease that can cause or lead to so many other health issues. Now what this looks like is someone that's, sitting up very straight, and their legs are sort of shoulder width apart, and maybe the feet are on the floor, as opposed to being crossed legs and sitting back, and your arms, whatever, and your arms are straight down by your sides, legs are wide. The Alexander technique has all these nuances about different conditioning that people have, and you can learn more about it. And again, but you're not trying to sit up straight like you do in, I think it's Carnelian school. I forget what that school is called. Castilian school, Carnelian, the Southern Manners school that young ladies go to. But it's not. You're not trying to. I'm gonna focus on sitting up straight and having good posture. You're not doing that. It happens organically. All you're doing is focusing on body awareness, having that awareness, and then letting go of that tension. Naturally, the end result is that you'll sit up straight. It'll be easy to sit up straight. Actually, you'll feel more energized sitting like this than you would slouching back and collapsing your spine or slouching forward or whatever. Lastly, I'll just mention or standing straight. You're standing up straight. Your arms are by your side. Your feet are shoulder width apart. You're nice and straight. Your hips are just squared, centered. You're not cheating out on one hip, leaning on one hip. This allows the energy to flow up and down the spine and the body. And this was developed by a guy named Mr. Alexander in the late 1800s. And he found that by trying, he was doing a job and he was expending so much effort, it was completely exhausting him to where he could hardly even speak. And he found that it's in the act of putting so much effort into it and contriving something that really exhausts the body. And he developed this technique of really letting go and relaxing, and this results in good beingness anyways. One last example I'll give is because again, this is not about I'm gonna just hold good posture all the time. That sounds like a lot of work. It's really not. If you look at Transcendental meditation, okay, so when I started doing it, this is basically where you just sit in a chair for 20 minutes and you repeat a mantra and you just sit there, basically meditate. When I first did it, I was leaning back in the chair, just sitting in my chair. Well, within a couple of times of doing it, because you're not thinking about anything when you're meditating. You're basically just, sometimes you do, but you're basically just sitting there. Well, naturally, my body was urged to lean forward, kind of on the edge of my chair, and just sit there. And now keep in mind, I'm completely relaxing during this time of meditating. While I'm completely relaxing, my body just completely goes straight up and down. And this is the most relaxed position my body can be in, as opposed to leaning back or sitting back. So this was amazing to me, because this is happening, in my estimation, whether you know the technique or not. If you do something like Transcendental meditation, I'd be curious to see. Maybe you can let me know. But the body just naturally, because it just gets energized, and it's just a free flow of energy. It's the most energetic state of beingness. The body will naturally gravitate towards that if you just relax it and let it go. So now, that's not to say there's not a time to lean back. I love leaning back and relaxing, sitting in a recliner, putting your feet up. That's totally fine. I get that. It's all about a balance. And so, so that's a little more about the Alexander technique. And again, I had to mention it because you're doing it all the time. You deserve to be in a state of beautiful elegance, and this could actually add years to your life, believe it or not, or it could help you avoid an injury. If you think about how you get in and out of a car, how you get in and out of chairs, how you lift things, how you carry yourself, how you walk somewhere, how you prepare meals or fold laundry, all this type of thing, the Alexander technique assists you with doing this in a freeing, energetic, effortless way, with ease of motion. And I'm telling you, this can help keep you young. And it's worth looking at, even though it sounds boring, like it's a posture technique. It is, but it isn't, because you're not focused on it. It's really a relaxation technique and a beingness technique, and it's worth learning. It really is. It's one of the most important life skills. So again, if you're interested in learning more about it, take some time to learn more about it, or read the book about it. I'll link to it and everything, so you can check into it more for yourself. This really is a great improvement to make to your life that can help regardless of what you're going through, and regardless of how much energy you have. Maybe you're just suffering right now with health issues, and you're like, I can't have good posture right now. It's not about having good posture. It's an awareness technique and a relaxation technique, and naturally, you should start to have a more ease of motion and a better beingness. And so, again, that link is rapidregeneration.com/Alexander technique. I'll also link to a resource if you wish to find an instructor to work with you. You can look them up, see what they charge, see if that's worthwhile, and keep learning. Keep going on to these other tips and tricks and techniques that can help you to accomplish your health goals. I'm here to help you do that. You're doing amazing if you're learning all this stuff, and I'm really proud of you. And if there's anything I can do to help, please let me know. This is Dave Escamilla with rapidregeneration.com. Thank you. I will see you on the next segment.
For more information, please follow @Rapid Regeneration or visit rapidregeneration.com.